This is a Ekman Fine Art project lesson, Christmas tree ornament, teddy bear. Project lessons are for learning acid-free fine art cast paper sculpture using the Ekman method. You can find them on our website at ekmanfineart.com. For this project lesson, we're going to teach you how to do this adorable teddy bear for your tree. The kit includes paper, bonding agent, hanging elements, and these teddy bear casts. You'll have enough paper left over to make this candy cane, which my 4-year-old granddaughter Ellie, first time she saw it, put it in her mouth, she thought it was candy. This is your paper. They're all quarter size sheets of EFA paper. You have a number 2, a number 4, and a hard paper sheet. Now if you want to make a candy cane, take about 3.5 inches off the long side of that number 4 sheet, measure it, and use a clear straight edge. Here I use a triangle, and I'm going to tear it just a little bit at a time, holding it down hard and tearing it with my other hand. With this kit, you'll probably have enough paper left over to do 2 or 3 of these candy canes. Take out your casts, look them over, tear them apart where these legs are connected. And then we're going to have to do one thing before we start. The first thing you'll want to do is mix your bonding agent. Add a 1/4 cup of water to a pot on the stove. When it comes to a boil, then add the powder that's in the package from the kit. You'll mix this thoroughly in the water. Here Patty's using a whisk. You could use a spoon or whatever you want. Just mix it up real good. It'll turn milky. Then you'll want to add some ice. And the ice serves to cool the bonding agent. As it cools, it gets thicker. Have 2 containers ready. Add this thick bonding agent to one of the containers. After you've added the thick to one container, pour half of that thick bonding agent into the second container. Now you'll want to add water and mix thoroughly. Once you've got that thinned a little bit, you might want to add a little more water. The more water you add, the thinner it gets. Remember though, you can always make your bonding agent thinner, but the only way you can make it thicker is to add more of your thick. Okay, back to the teddy bear. So we need to trim them out. There's always a little paper that overhang when we cast these. It kind of holds the paper into the mold while it dries. So trim off the excess around these casts. I'm working on the front part of the teddy bear here, using a little pair of fingernail scissors. Sometimes you'll want to use an X-Acto knife. When you do that, just be careful. You don't want to cut yourself. Blood doesn't look good on this paper, and then you got to pick it out. So just be careful whenever you use a knife. I like to use these fingernail scissors because it's really a nice tool for trim. And then when you trim it, always save your trim. If you do project lessons, you'll find that you can store that trim and use it in different projects by repulping it. Okay, now I'm working on the back of the teddy bear, cutting off this trim. Sometimes I call it just scrap because that's what you end up with. So take that scrap and save it. Here I'm using the knife to work around the ear. Okay, and there's the back of the teddy bear. See how it fits together. Now I'll start on the legs and we'll trim those out too. Okay, I've got one done. Now I'm going to work on some more here. There are 8 halves. So here I'm using the big scissors, the Fiskars on these straight edges. Just goes a little faster. So I recommend you get a pair if you don't have them. We'll have to fit these together. We have 2 upper legs and 2 lower legs. Alright, there's my last one. Now put my scrap aside here and we're going to start fitting these together now. We did our trim. Now this is the assembly. So try to find the right legs to go on the right ones. You can see there's kind of front and back on these. These are the bottom legs here, and these are the top legs. Forgot one. Get that trimmed out real fast. Alright. I've already mixed my bonding agent, so I'll set it right here and start assembling these pieces. Put a little bonding agent inside there. Make sure I'm finding the right ones here that go together. Let that bonding agent soak in a little bit as you do this. Get it on the lips and a little bit inside. I'll get them all wet. Let it soak in. I'm doing the legs first. Doesn't matter, you can do the body of the teddy bear first if you want, but right here I'm working on the legs. This project lesson is not difficult to do, even though it has a lot of pieces to it. Now I'll grab the front side of this teddy bear body and I'll apply the bonding agent right around the lip of the cast. Now I'll do the back side. Working on the inside of the cast, just on the lip. Okay, that bonding agent has soaked into those casts. Now I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure and put those together. They're small casts and they fit together pretty good. So just kind of squeeze them and get them together. Might have to do this a couple of times. Get them to fit. Now I'm going to start on the body of the teddy bear. Register it together here. Then I'm just going to take a dressmaker pin and stick it in. I'll use a pair of needle nose pliers to drive it through. Now if it's wet, you're just going to, inside there, it's just going to bend that pin. So put it in where it's dry inside. So when you put it around that lip, try not to get it inside too much on this hat. So I can just stick it there a little bit on the inside. I must have it wet there. And I'll use a second pin and stick it. The bottom's fitting pretty good. So now I'm just going to take my burnisher and work around it a little bit. Try to get the edges there. Oh, push this together more. Like I said, you may have to do this a few times. Then it'll get tighter. Alright, now I'm going to take this thin sheet of soft paper. It's a number 2 sheet, and I'm going to tear some ready strips from this. I actually like using a clear straight edge triangle or whatever, like you saw me do in the beginning of this when I tore the number 4 sheet with a triangle, clear triangle holding it down and tearing it. But this was handy, and I just thought I'd show you how to do this. If you don't have something clear, you can do it this way. It's not quite as easy and it's not quite as clean, but it doesn't matter that much either. Just as long as you get your ready sheets to do the seam on your teddy bear. We're going to tear these down a little bit more, a little more manageable little sheets to go around the seam. This is what I call seaming the cast, and it'll make it seamless. So there's my ready sheets. Call them ready sheets because they're ready to go. I just take my bonding agent, wet around where that seam is, and lay it over that seam, and work it in with my brush and with my my burnisher, and burnish around that. This is the tuck tool burnisher you'll find on our website, and it's a handy tool. You can work some detail in with it. You can use it to roll paper to make a little paper dowel, whatever. So I'm going to work all the way around the body of this teddy bear with my tuck tool burnisher. Using both sides of it, I can create that seamless look on the cast. And I'll do the same thing with the legs of the teddy bear. Here I can work that detail. It looks like he's got a little fur, and with the metal end of my tuck tool burnisher, I can work that detail in. Now I'll start on the legs. Let me tear it a little bit thinner here, just because the legs are thinner. As that bonding agent soaks in, it's kind of a little bit softer, and you can apply pressure, and it gets a little easier to push those together. So I'm just going to finish up on both the legs and the body here before we go to the next step. Then we'll dry this. Okay, I've got it dried now. Now I'm going to tear a little bit of this number 4 sheet up. the thicker sheet, and get a few little strips there. And those little ready sheets, we'll put them on the flat side of these bottom legs here and supply it there. The thicker paper folded over there. We're going to attach this to the bottom of the teddy bear. I'm going to do a little grinding here on that bottom of the body and attach this leg to one side. We're just going to use a little pressure to push that on, and then I'm going to take some of these thinner sheets here and kind of fill in the back where it's attached. It'll also hinge that leg on. So we're not going to use any pins or tape or anything like that, but I'm just going to put these together just using the paper that we have here. Use a little thicker paper here. I got kind of a divot there that I want to fill and burnish down. It'll hold together pretty good. We only have 4 to do, 2 bottom legs and 2 top legs on this teddy bear. And just burnish it down nice and snug. We do want to be careful when we work these legs on, because we can knock them off as easy as we put them on. Now I'm going to work this seam in the front with a little of the thin paper. On a real teddy bear there would be kind of a fold there, or a seam where it was sewed together, so we don't have to completely make it seamless, but just work on it to get it the way you want it. A little more thin paper there, and then I'm going to attach the other bottom leg to that flat part of the bottom of the body of the teddy bear. Okay, now here's the other leg, bottom leg. So we'll put some thick paper on that and apply some bonding agents to that as well. Add another little ready sheet there, and we'll stick that one on. Just a little pressure, and then we'll try to get it to sit down a little bit. Push it on, and then we'll seam the back just like we did the other leg. Do the fill and the chasing on there. Now I've got the back done pretty much, and I'll work this little fold in the front and on the side of the bear, and do a little burnishing with the metal end of my tuck tool burnisher. Get it worked in all the way around. Now I'm going to attach the top legs. See where this fits here. think that's where I want it. I think for these top legs I will use a pin and stick it through the leg and attach it there where I want it. Lift it up a little bit and throw some thin paper underneath there. I'm going to get it wet with the bonding agent, and even a little bit on that number 2 sheet. Stick it underneath there, and then I can push it down onto there, and the pen will hold it on. Really wouldn't have to use a pen if I'm careful, but those bottom legs are wet, and I just think that it might be a little prudent to go ahead and use a pen. Then I'll fill in around that top leg. Work it in there, burnishing it down with the ductile burnisher, and then I'll fill the back side of that leg too. Some soft sheets, and then I'll work the other leg. So just stick a pin in there and work your paper under and around it to attach it, just like we did on the other side. So we're going to kind of finish it up here, and then after we have it all seamed and chased out, then we're going to dry it. There's the teddy bear. Now I'll show you how we're going to dry this. If you have a drying stand, that works great. If you don't, just put it under a fan and dry it. Okay, got a couple more things to do here after it's dry. That little bear has a tongue in his mouth, so I kind of worked out the mouth. Now I'm going to make this tongue a little more prominent by putting it on there and working it in with my ductile burnisher to give him a little tongue. Makes him kind of cute. So I got that tongue in there, and I got him kind of a smiling mouth there. Now we got to put a little hanging loop right on his hat. So here's where you use your knife. Right there where the turn is on his hat, just go straight down. Be careful with this knife, especially if you're a kid. You might want to have some supervision to do that. Open it up a little bit with your ductile burnisher to apply the loop, and wet it with some bonding agent. You might want to push a little paper in there. With the ductile burnisher. Now I'm going to use some needle nose and grabbing that loop with the needle nose, I'll just push it into that little slot I made, and then I'm going to fill in and around it with some paper. That'll lock it in after it dries, and it won't come out when you hang it. And with the loop going the way it is, it'll hang on your tree so the teddy bear will face out. Just notice the way I put that loop in. It's not sideways, it's kind of toward you as you work on it. So put that paper around there and even in between that little loop. Now I'm going to make a little adjustment here. Make sure it's pulled out enough to get a string in there. And just touch it up a little bit. And then we'll make sure this is dry before we go to the next step. I'm going to fuss with this a little bit, making sure I've got enough paper in there and enough loop revealed that I can get my hanging string on there without any problem. There he is, ready to dry. After it's dry, we want to do a penetration seal. So we take a little bit of that white glue and put it in a bottle, or put it on your palette tray with a brush. It's not a lot of glue in there, about 10% to water. A little more if you want. We spray it all around or brush it on, and that'll penetrate the paper for a surface seal. Then you're going to want to dry that penetration seal, and next we're going to do a surface seal. We're going to just use some Liquitex acrylic white, titanium white paint, and paint the bear all over, front and back. You see we put the little hanging device in there, and it's okay to paint over that too. You might want to make sure that paint's clean down to that hole before you hang your bear. You won't get your string through there if you don't. That white glue that we put in the bottle or painted on with water, mixed with water, it's just that Elmer's white glue. It's got a lot of acrylic in that too, and it penetrates it, so this titanium white Liquitex paint, that paint will stay on the surface, and these two seals will really protect this Christmas tree ornament. It's acid-free paper, so we want to get it good and sealed so it'll be protected inside for years and years, probably permanently. Now I've got that all sealed, and we'll dry this. Then Patty's going to go ahead and finish this bear up by painting it. She's got some cadmium red light there and some Mars black. It's all Liquitex. And some titanium white for touch-up. And she's going to carefully paint the hat of this teddy bear first with the cadmium red light, and she'll carefully apply this It's going to need a couple of coats, but by the time she works her way all around that hat, the first coat will be pretty much dry enough to add a second coat to it. Now she's got that hat painted, and she's going to mix a little white with this red so she can paint the mouth in and that little tongue on that bear. She's mixing it to get the color that she wants. Doesn't need very much here. Got a small brush, really a small brush. She'll paint in that mouth and little tongue. It's kind of a pink color. Red and white, of course, makes pink. And she's got that done. This is Jewellet, Aleene's Jewellet embroidering glue. It's really a strong, thick glue. And she's going to apply the eyes of this teddy bear, which are little buttons that she got at Hobby Lobby. You can see where the eyes are. If you want to, you can just paint those eyes. But this makes it pretty cute, just putting these little buttons on there. You get a lot of things at Hobby Lobby. It's a great place to buy crafts, arts and crafts materials. And for the nose, she's going to use a little Swarovski's crystals. I think this is a black one. Again, you could just paint that. You can see where the nose is. I might want to change those blue eyes to green eyes. I think you could use a little green. But Patty likes blue. And that's what she's showing here. Yeah, let's take those blue eyes off and put some green ones on. Red and green are traditional Christmas colors, red, green, and white. The blue eyes look cute, but I kind of like this. She's got some green and red ribbon there. There's that Jewellet. It's really a great glue. It sticks things down hard, especially these foreign elements. The white glue would probably work too. That Elmer's white glue. I don't think it would work quite as good. These eyes are not going to come off after that's dry. And there's her bear, ready for the little scarf that she's going to use the ribbon to tie around his neck. She got that Jewellet at Hobby Lobby too. Probably this ribbon as well. And she just ties it around there. Got a pair of tweezers to get it in there tight. And she'll use some Jewellet to kind of tack that down to the body of the bear as well after she's got it tied on the way she wants. Nice and tight so it won't come off. Now she's going to apply this string. Came in your kit. It's a gold one. You could use the gold or the silver, whichever you like. And she'll tie that on there. And that hanging device works with that loop, so when you put it on the branch of your tree, that bear should be facing out. So she'll get a little knot in here. So it won't come out. And there's the bear ready to hang. Now she really wants to get that scarf so it stays in place. So using a little jewellet, it dries clear, so if you get some of that on the scarf, it won't matter. You won't see it. She gets it tacked down. Just using her little brush. That's pretty thick glue. Use those tweezers to get it where she wants. And then that'll dry. And that bear is completely finished now. Now I want to show you one that I did. I painted my bear with Liquitex yellow oxide mixed with some white, some cad red light, some permanent green, and crystals for eyes and nose. And there are many more of these Christmas tree ornaments project lessons that you could do. Just go and check out our website at ekmanfineart.com. You can order these Christmas tree ornament kits as well as other project lessons. Just go to the menu bar here and click on Ekman Method. Once you're there, you'll find our paper, bonding agent, project lessons, and you'll find starter casts, DVDs, and tools. The pictures just represent the categories we have for the project lessons and ways to work in this medium. And we'll go under the Daisy Kit and we'll click there and we'll find these project lessons. There's all the Christmas tree ornaments, and you can click on any of those to order. You can search and it'll come up under search from the menu bar as well. To get started, go to our website ekmanfineart.com to order your Christmas tree ornament project lessons or any other project lessons as well, and enjoy.